Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. Josh Heupel, the Tennessee Vols, land a massive commitment in the 2025 class in five-star quarterback George MacIntyre from Brentwood, Tennessee. And I'll start off with this about George. There is not really a throw that George MacIntyre will not be able to make at the college football level. And that is something that you just quite frankly cannot say about a lot of college quarterbacks, right? Playbooks are limited and have to be catered to what the arm talent is with their quarterbacks that are running the offense. A guy like George MacIntyre, and what excites me the most about him making that transition to the college football level is there is not a throw that he can't make, and you don't have to tailor your offense to something that he can't do, because he can attack the deeper third. He can rip them in there over the middle of the field. Throws with really, really good touch as well. You talk about firing them in there. He certainly can do that, but he can layer footballs, throw with some really, really nice touch. Watched a lot of his film last night because I knew he was committing today. Have some notes and want to turn on the film and kind of talk to you guys about what I see in George MacIntyre, right? 6'5.5", 180 pounds. Obviously will fill out that frame. Kind of reminds you of Big Nico coming out of high school, but a guy that is dripping with arm talent and really is going to fit right in terms of what Josh Heupel wants to do on the offensive side of the football. And you got to give Josh Heupel and this Tennessee Vols staff a ton of credit in terms of what they've been able to do at the quarterback position, right? Obviously landing Nico in 2023, Jake Merklinger, a guy that I am really excited about in this 2024 class, and then George MacIntyre in the 2025 class. You are largely seeing Tennessee identify the quarterbacks that they want in the high school class and go out and get those guys and land those guys, really getting their first choice. George MacIntyre, really, really exciting. Want to talk a little bit more about him. Turn on the film. Before we do, just want to say thank you to you guys. And I really cannot thank you guys enough for all the support you guys have shown for the recruiting talk. I mean, there is not many things I like talking more as it relates to college football than talent acquisition, talking about these talents coming from the high school ranks and making that transition to college football. Appreciate all the support you guys have shown. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel. And without further ado, let's get into George MacIntyre. Before we talk about George MacIntyre as a quarterback, I want to talk about how important it is to land your quarterback in that recruiting class early on in the process. When you have a five-star quarterback like George MacIntyre committed to Tennessee this early, it all of a sudden gets really, really easy to start selling those wide receivers and those running backs to come play in this Tennessee offense in this 2025 class. And what are you selling? One, Josh Heupel, one of the best offensive minds in all of college football, but more importantly, you have Nico in this quarterback room. You have Merck in this quarterback room. Now you're going to have George MacIntyre in this quarterback room as well. So if you're a wide receiver, one, you're looking at the talent that Tennessee has put out into the NFL draft with guys like Jalen Hyatt, Cedric Tillman. I think Brew McCoy is going to be drafted next year. Hopefully he gets healthy. But more importantly, you know the quarterback is going to be extremely good with guys like Nico and George and Merck in this quarterback room. Josh Heupel crushing the quarterback position on the recruiting trail, I think really only helps him on the recruiting trail in other positions, specifically on the offensive side of the football. Now, getting into George MacIntyre, a couple of things that really stand out. One, we talked about the high upside. I mean, this is a guy that has truly a special arm, can attack the deeper third extremely well. But more importantly, and I don't know necessarily how to quantify this, and you guys will see it on the film in just a second, it's the it factor, right? When plays break down and you need to make something happen and make nothing something, like George MacIntyre has that ability to do that. So when I'm evaluating quarterbacks at the high school ranks, do you have that it factor? And again, it's hard to kind of quantify it, but you kind of feel it and you see it and you kind of know it when you see it. And I think George MacIntyre has that in massive, massive amounts from the high school ranks. Now, turning on the film, this is one of the more fun film studies to watch because he just makes some real jaw-dropping throws, right? The first couple of plays you're going to see, one, extending the play. Extremely good feet for someone that is 6'5.5". And that deep ball, dropping it right in the bucket on the run, kind of fading away. That's what I kind of mean with the arm talent. And then this is probably the most impressive throw that you're going to see on the film, right? You talk about fitting it into kind of some tight zones. This wide receiver right here, working the middle of the field, working that seam route, not even having his head turned around yet, and basically gets it right in the face mask. and George McIntyre throwing with anticipation, throwing it to tight areas of the zone. And then this is kind of the it factor. And you're going to see it one more time on this film here. I mean, how good he is as a mover with how tall he is, and then keeping his eyes downfield, making multiple people miss, really making a broken play go for a 40-yard pass right here. I mean, that is probably what excites you the most, keeping your eyes downfield, making something or making nothing something. That's probably what excites you the most here. And again, the deep ball is, I mean, truly incredible. Taking a hit. You talk about like kind of toughness too. You can kind of put this under the it factor category here. I mean, he knows he's going to get hit right here. Leans into it, throws an absolute seed down the field, hits his wide receiver in stride for a 70-yard touchdown. I mean, those are the type of the things that you can't teach that arm talent, but you also can't teach that ability to make some plays. You're going to see it again right here, keeping his eyes downfield, kind of throwing a little jump pass there. That's that it factor that I'm talking about. And then polished. When it is time to just drop back and deliver some dots from the pocket, he certainly can do that as well. There's some nice touch to the back of the end zone. They're really dropping in a bucket only where his wide receiver can have it. You see him throw to the boundary. Again, these are the throws that I don't think a lot of people take these throws for granted, right? Opposite hash to the boundary, throws it on a dot. That is some real special stuff from George McIntyre. Throws on the run really well, steps up, delivers a phenomenal ball over the middle of the field, takes a hit again. I mean, this guy is tough as nails as well. Creating, and like Nico, you're not necessarily saying he's the best athlete ever, but when it is time to stride, and we saw Nico do this in that bowl game, when it's time to get in open space and use those wheels, like he certainly has those wheels as well. Loves to extend plays, keep his eyes downfield, throw it on a rope. This is a quarterback that I think has an incredible amount of upside. And you talk about it's kind of, for me, when I look at this Tennessee quarterback room, it's kind of a numbers game, right? You have Nico heading into that 2024 season. You'll have him for a couple of years. Then you have Merck and George McIntyre coming up. It's kind of hard to see quarterback play not being good for the Tennessee Vols, not only in 2024, but 2025 and in 2026. And there is a reason that I shouldn't say that, but I am extremely impressed with what Josh Heupel has done in that quarterback room. We all know the importance of what quarterback play means to college football programs, and they're getting it done on the high school ranks. So they're not going to be a team that, get to the end of that 2024 year and start being desperate like some other teams, especially in the SEC, to find quarterbacks in the transfer portal, because they got multiple talented quarterbacks from the high school ranks on this roster that are getting developed. A massive win for Josh Heupel and the Tennessee Vols. This is going to be a really fun team to talk about in this 2025 class, a phenomenal start to the 2025 class. And I think Josh Heupel is really going to build on this momentum. Appreciate you guys rocking with the boys again. If y'all do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.